This week's astrology, we're going to watch Venus slide into the sign of Cancer. She's all about your love and money stories, beauty and pleasure, peace as well. And as she moves into watery Cancer, hanging out with good guy Jupiter, she happens this week to make an aspect pattern to Saturn that is difficult and somewhat rare. Not only does she square Saturn as she ingresses in this week, which will be the events of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where we really feel it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But not only does she square Saturn, bringing hard choices and decisions and actions to do with love and money in our lives, but she also works with Neptune, which is where we want to visualize the highest potential of what is possible for us. We will make decisions this week, and turning point stories will happen in your life to do with your love stories, to do with your financial stories, to do with what brings you pleasure, what your values are. There are turning points up ahead in this sky ahead stories. However, we do have benefic Lord Jupiter in his exaltation in Cancer watching over her. She's kind of like hanging with him. And so he's going to make sure that she does good by you, good by me, and hopefully pretty good by world peace events as well. Now, one of the things about this sky, she also is in a general trine to the North Node. That we have to go back 18 to 20 years to see her doing this story. You get the flavor. It's not any old Venus in Cancer storyline. She'll be there for 3 weeks. We're going to cover this week ahead. A separate video will come out just about Venus and how she's going to do you some good in her 3-week journey through Cancer. Today is how to handle this week. What is this week? The 28th of July to about the 3rd of August. So Monday, the 28th of July is where we're starting in our sky story this week for your sign. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign houses, and I, of course, use fixed stars. We have Venus on Betelgeuse and Menkalanon. One is a star of wisdom after times of difficulty, but Betelgeuse is a star of great wealth. So there's that bit of juice that she's extracting from a star of financial success that we can also perhaps count on in this week ahead in our individual lives as well as the collective big story picture. If you're new and you haven't liked and subscribed before, why don't you consider coming aboard my channel where I put out 25 to 30 videos a month? I'm not kidding you. Individual all signs every third week of the month, weekly updates, lunations and eclipses in your sign for you. And therefore you can benefit from navigating the sky by timing your best life, by moving in the flow, not against the flow of what is already happening. So if this kind of all signs content is your cup of tea, please hit the like button and subscribe. You want to learn to time your own best life. You don't want to rely on me all the time. Come to my Sky Reader class. This starts on September 13th. I think that's the date. It's a Saturday. We run for 6 weeks live. I only teach it live. I only teach it once a year. And we're going to have a private Discord room, a private Facebook group, weekly Q&A calls, bonus teachers and bonus modules. I'm going to teach you to read your Sky Reader, then how to time your best life, because I'm going to show you some easy and simple to use ancient Hellenistic and Babylonian timing tools that can help you make sense of your life and move in the direction of least resistance. We can't change our plot lines. We can't change all of our life stories, but we can change how we interact with it, and we can move and operate in concert collaboration with our highest good. Astrology helps us do that. So come join me. I'm looking forward to having some of you in class this fall. Now, let's get started. And how to do that information is in the description box. The early bird discount waitlist is there. Get a discount code to sign up with. We don't open the enrollment cart to probably the 31st of July or August 1st. I'm trying to get my time to put this shopping cart or enrollment cart up, but I'm working with a new platform, Thinkific, so it's taking me a while to get the knack of it. All right, so let's start off by talking about Venus. Let me show you the sky. First of all, let me remind you about Venus. Venus is a good planet. She's giving us the earthly pleasures. She's giving us our romantic and sexual life. She's giving us babies. She rules sperm and ovum. She's making life happen. She's bringing you like the succulent parts of life. We don't want not to live without enjoyment. We want to experience pleasure. And it's also the decorative and ornamental parts of our life, beauty and fashion and art and creativity and procreativity. And the thing about Venus is that she's also what we call a benefic. She's doing her best to bring something good. And of course, she's close to Earth. She's between the Earth and the sun. Unlike Jupiter, who's way out there near Saturn, he brings us good things too, but he's bigger energy. He's different energy. and he's wisdom energy. One thing I don't like about Jupiter sometimes is he'll give you what you need, but not what you want. And where Venus will give you what you want. So if there's something you want or don't want this week ahead, Venus is going to give you an eyeball on what to do, how to react, and what to do with this energy. So trust the Venusian impulse to move into an alignment with your values, to make turning point decisions around love and money, peace and beauty and harmony. And we'll be talking about that individually for your sign. The Sabian symbol, where she ends up at 2 degrees, okay, she's moving into 1 degree of the sign of Cancer, water sign of Cancer. And as she ingresses there on Thursday, July 31st in North American time zone, she squares retrograde Saturn at 1 degree of Aries. Saturn having not been in Aries, just so you know, since way back in 96, 97, 98, 99. It's kind of like back in the day, there was some Saturn and Aries activity. And so we have to go back to that era in our lives to go, she kept squaring Saturn every year during those years. And what was I going through around love and money and all of that? It was kind of like March of 96 to February of 99 that Saturn was in Aries back when. So she kept squaring kind of 3 times during that time, 3 years, probably 96, 97, 98. And you can go back and ask yourself about that era of your life and values and money and romance and love and creativity factors that you kept bumping into some need to Saturn, redefine the structures, be realistic and serious and sober-minded. Love is hard, love endures. Making money can require persistence and effort and dedication. Those kinds of stories played out back then. They're playing out back right now. I'll be reminding you of that when I get to your sign, okay? But the other thing I want to say about Venus doing this narrative here this week is that she's at the Sabian symbol, round up 1 degree to 2 degrees of Cancer. And I find that in my Sabian Symbols book, Screen of Prophecy, Diana E. Roche. This is an old book. I don't even know if it's in print. Sabian Cancer 2. A man suspended over a vast level place, keyword contemplation. And she says the theme is circumspection. The symbol speaks to looking over situations and examining all options, opportunities, and possible consequences. That's what Venus will have you do this week, especially Thursday through to Sunday. And it's also a look before you leap approach decision making. And I love that because Saturn is that planet that has us be cautious, be considering all variables, to go slow in our decisions and actions around love and money as we approach this week ahead, especially, as I said, Thursday through to Sunday, Monday. And then she also says that the opportunity from this particular and wise choices. Saturn is wisdom, wise choices. She says your greatest advantage this week ahead, okay, and we're starting with Thursday through Sunday, lies in taking all the time you need to gather your facts and to weigh your options. So I'm going to leave you with that. Keywords are contemplation, consideration, deliberation, reflection, examination, decision, circumspection, overview, and perspective. So she's on that Sabian symbol, and that's what matters. She's also on the Oracle of Delphi, Pythia, the asteroid of the prophet seer oracle. Can't make that up. Any of you engaged in oracular professions might particularly benefit from foresight this week ahead. Or if you want to consult the oracle to gather foresight about what to do, Venus is with the foresight or the future seeing energy of the Oracle of Delphi, Pythia, and there she sits holding hands on July the 31st as she crosses the barrier on maybe the day before. Let's check her out. Oh, yeah. Give me a minute. I gotta not annotate. Uh-huh. Now, let's get this show on the road. I don't want to annotate. I just want to move us back a day. Yeah, so it depends on your time zone. On July 30th at like almost 10 p.m. at night in Washington, D.C., Venus is actually no muffler motorcycle. Venus is actually getting ready to drop across the border into the sign of Cancer, but she's not quite there yet. So by the time midnight happens on Wednesday night and we cross into the nighttime and we're sleeping, she's crossed into the sign of Cancer. And by 9 p.m. the next day, Thursday the 31st, she's already moving quickly at 1 degree of Cancer. And you'll notice the day before down here, the Oracle of Delphi, the Thea, is waiting for her. So that's an interesting thing to see. She's coming off a recent conjunction to Hygeia, the healer, and now she's moving into a sort of prophetic, intuitive space right here. Of course, Cancer is a sign of the moon, and it is indeed very intuitive naturally. And so I will encourage you in your all sign space to lean away from your pro-con list and your logic. Saturn wants wisdom, which is to be in a sage-like developmental mindset, to know what's true, not to feel what's true, not to think what's true, to know what's true. Knowing is more powerful than thinking and feeling. It's a deeper heart-based energy. If you can know what's true and you use your intuition, Venus is going to support major decisions around love and money and creative projects and peace and harmony in your life, depending on where she sits. And that's when we do the all signs. What about the world events? I know a few of you love that. We're going to talk about right now, just a short touch point. I'm starting a new section every Wednesday with soul world event predictions, not all signs. So stay tuned for that. It might get started this week if I have time. Take a look at Pandora's Box in Virgo. Virgos will be influenced. Trump has a midheaven in Virgo. The United States executive branch is in Virgo. Sorry, repeat, not skip Trump. Netanyahou has his ascendant in Virgo. And there's Pandora's Box, the ills that are spilled upon the world, the ills that have been spilled upon the world. So Congress and the United States executive branch, really. So the Trump administration is Virgo. This is Virgo for the nation of Lebanon. Virgo also applies to Netanyahou's midheavenist career. And we have Pandora's Box. It's been, and Mars and South Node. And the ills are spilled upon the world: disease, mayhem, murder, every bad thing you can think of, plagues, whatever. And, those situations in the Middle East, with the situation from the perspective of Netanyahu's midheaven, is to put the ills upon the world, Pandora's Box. So there's just that. And over here we have prophecy, Pythia. It has been foretold that, whatever is going on over here will what? Who knows? Because Cancer in the sky, right down here, for the nation of Israel, is nation of Israel's 10th house of the party in power, the Knesset. And its leading party, the faction or coalition government of Benjamin Netanyahu. That coalition government belongs to this part of the sky where Venus is sitting, sextiling the woes of the world, the oh dear woes of the world, things that have been spilled upon it. And possibly in the square to Saturn, Saturn is the brakes. Saturn is what stops something from happening. Okay. Saturn and Neptune pulling back the curtain on hidden variables that were unseen. That's what Neptune does retrograde. This is the house of open enemies that belong to the nation of Israel right here where Saturn sits. That would be what they consider their enemies. I guess you could say Iran or any of their neighbors are their enemies. So let's just call a spade a spade. So the open enemies of Israel, there's a halt, a stop. That's not good for Israel when Saturn is in its seventh house. It means strength and power to the enemy because it's controlling and solid energy compared to anything else. And it's exalted in Libra, but it's in its fall. In other words, the nation of Israel's exaltation planet is Saturn. Saturn is a condition of fall in the house of open enemies. I don't mean that means open enemies fall. I think open enemies cause Israel's fall. That's what it means to me. Okay. Already, as I record today on July the 26th, France has now said it's going to recognize Palestine as a independent country. The next I hear is England is thinking of doing, UK is thinking of doing the same thing. They're going to be joining Norway, Spain, and Ireland. And all in all, the global consensus around starving children to death and mothers to death is pretty well, obviously not tenable. And in general, no matter what Israel does at this point, it's a pariah nation. It's lost the esteem of the world, and only the United States is sticking in there. And you guys, sorry, but the lobby, the buy off of politicians, the drill. So we're not going to go any further, and or blackmail, etc. So yeah, we just know that the tide is turning, and I'll be doing a video on that on Wednesday, I think. That said and done, this is a global story, right? And you don't have a Pandora's box per se, but I might try to address the idea that Venus is trying to fix a problem where some ills have spilled in your life, right? That's what she's going to do for all of us, individually and collectively. She's going to try to patch up something here. As she moves into this part of the sky, Haumea, a creatrix goddess, divine feminine healing energy, the energy of fertility and creation, a Hawaiian goddess, the mother of Pele, the volcano goddess, is sitting in the sign of Scorpio at the time of this 1 degree square to Saturn. We're not going to pay attention to the moon because the moon is moving quickly, but you could note that the moon is also in a difficult condition called her fall, and a fallen moon in Scorpio could indicate troubles for Vladimir Putin, perhaps in the short term, because he has a Scorpio rising. For example, King Charles has a Scorpio sun. So there may be some challenges here in some regard for those characters. But, and there's a big but here, Venus is trying to help out that situation. Yet, as this moon is moving all through the sky on Thursday, it's going to square Mercury in the sign of Kings. So I'll make a prediction that maybe King Charles will have some negative news, probably about his health, on the week ahead, maybe Wednesday through to Friday. That's a prediction for you guys. It could show up like that. We'll see what happens. Now, let's stop the share for a minute and let's get to your sign. So my only prediction for the week ahead, if I have to make anything happen here, is for the week of July the 28th to August the 3rd, we're going to see the possibility of some bad news about King Charles and his health that has to do with a fallen moon in Scorpio. Then it's going to square Venus, Mercury in retrograde in Leo, and that could be old health news coming back for reinspection and maybe not some positive news. We also might see some situations where Netanyahou is going to decline in power. He's already declined in health with his 3 days of food poisoning. I doubt that's what it really was. We'll be addressing that in Wednesday's video, and I'll tell you why I don't think that's what was really wrong with him, but I can understand why that excuse was used. But those are the world stories for you. That's what counts. And Vladimir Putin, as a Scorpio rising, could also have some negative news stories or difficult circumstances arising from him, but they're all connected to things we already knew about him in the past. And yes, it can involve health challenges for Vladimir Putin as well in this week ahead. Now, as we go into your sign, I want you to remember something. Astrology is for you to time your best life, but this is a general bell curve reading. I'm just talking about a whole sun, moon, and rising. If you're listening for your sun sign, guys, it's your career and purpose, but it's your soul, your avatar, your true self, your deeper essence. Your rising sign is circumstantially very, very sensitive, and it can indicate areas of life change that are very accurate because it's your character in the simulation, your game playing avatar. It's the actor. The actor is the sun. The role you play is the rising sign. And in this regard, you should definitely try to listen to your rising sign. If you don't know where your rising sign is, I have a free video tutorial called How to Cast Your Chart in Whole Sign Houses and Find Your Rising Sign. Go get it. You'll need a birth time to do that. Finally, the moon sign is all about mama. The sun is about daddy, but also it's about your home, your nest, where you live, your domicile, and how you feel about life. Honestly, an eclipse to my moon every 18 years, I change my home. You're seeing me in my new apartment. Yay me, I finally moved. And it happened because of the March 30th eclipse to my moon. And then my landlord told me that she was going to sell the property. So here I am now, moved into a new place. So these sorts of things are predictable. Think about it that way. But when you're listening for all three signs, I encourage you to try. Most people will find sun and rising the most easy to relate to. So over time, you get to vibe out with where you're coming from. Okay. Bell curve astrology is a general bell curve. It will be true for many people or most of the people most of the time, and you'll be an outlier. This is where you need to see a professional astrologer and understand your chart. And just so you know, I'm not taking clients right now. So I will be putting it together I'll be putting together on my website a list of recommended astrologers. Okay. And also, I haven't done that yet. And also, if you want to join me on Patreon for $5 measly a month, I just raised it to $7, but whatever, still cheap. You can get in with a reading if you're lucky. I open the doors to the Patreon community, but spots do book out quickly with 500 or 600 Patreon members. I don't get nobody gets a guaranteed spot. It's like first to book, first to get it, and then they're all gone. All right. So they know when I open new spots up, basically. Okay. So let's get rolling. Let's get started. Let's start with Aries. I am an Aries sun and moon. I totally relate to you guys. And because we're doing a Venus video and I'm all about jewelry, you guys know I love jewelry. I want to share this piece of jewelry with you by Sweet Pie Coppertist Wu. This is a divination piece of jewelry. It's insanely fun. You just let this little baby spin. It tells you upside down, right side up, major arcana. And so before we began this video, I did spin the wheel. Coppertist Wu, check his website and his discount code just for you in my description box below. In July, he's giving you a big discount, but it ends in July, but you still get a smaller discount year round for him. And I'll show you his website too. I'm just sharing because I love this kind of stuff. I don't get an affiliate link from him. He just sends me a piece of jewelry and asks me to share it. When I love something, I share it. Let me tell you the card I drew on this spinning of the wheel of my necklace. It's so much fun. So just for fun, I want to show you what it looks like up close. And again, I'm not getting money from this, just sharing the beauty of jewelry. I have a Venus and Taurus natally, and this is my cup of tea. Isn't that just gorgeous? And it basically spins and you can turn it and you can look at what comes through this little eye hole here. And it's brass, silver, and copper. All the jewelry is made of these things and helping you to know your inner self kind of vibe. And in today's spin, I and Coppertist Wu .com, and you can find the link in my description box to his website. I called the death card. It was a death card. It was right side up. And that's what I got for the week ahead for the world. No, you're not going to die. Okay. I wanted to ask about the world energy for this. Now, you would say Venus squaring Saturn, what's to die about? Saturn is a grim reaper, lord of time and karma. But also we have the south node on Mars, and that's not an easy story. It's still playing out. It came to exactitude on July 20th, the day that Netanyahou went into the hospital for food poisoning, and it's right on his midheaven, as well as it activates the energy. Well, it activates the south node for sure, but in the sky at the time Venus ingresses into Cancer, we have the South Node Mars thing still aligned in the sign of Virgo, ruled by a retrograde Mercury in Leo, the sign of Kings. So therefore, world leaders or rulers and death is a feature of the week of July the 26th, 7th. Well, let's go July the 28th. Okay, July 28th to August 3rd. The death of a world leader would not surprise me. Okay, so let me repeat that for my video editor. On the week of July the 28th to August 3rd, the death of a world leader would not surprise me. We have Mars South Node energy playing out, and we also have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Kings. This might impact King Charles. This might impact Vladimir Putin or any world leader that has a strong connection to the Leo energy in our sky, or to the Virgo energy in our sky. Those leaders can also include, therefore, Donald Trump or Netanyahu. Is it a virtual death or a metaphorical death? A loss of power or a loss of one's aliveness? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Now, let's go ahead and do your sign. In doing your sign, we always want to remember to tune into your own inner knowing. Do not use astrology to guide your life as a total tool. Look for synchronicities. Look for your messages. Pay attention to your dreams. Mercury's retrograde. He's close to the earth. Yes, in this week ahead, Mercury will go into the heart of the sun on July the 31st. I have done that video already. It came out on Sunday, and this video has come out on Monday. Go back and watch that video about what to do with Mercury in the heart of the sun. That could be the bad news about the health or the death of a world leader situation, for example, politically or literally. In the meantime, in your life, we're not focused on that because the video has come out. All we're focused on is Venus squaring Saturn, Neptune in a once-in-a-lifetime formation. Yes, it is once in a lifetime, because for Neptune and Saturn to be together, square Venus has not occurred in the last 100 years. You have a once-in-a-lifetime way that Venus is showing up with these two planets holding hands, both retrograde. Let's start with the Aries story. And as we go through this today, I may feel called just to play with an oracle deck that went over very well for my Saturn video that I put out recently about Saturn retrograde. So if you're into oracle stuff, I'll just give you a brief oracle pull from the one deck that I'll use today, The Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. So Aries, we're going to go to you first of all. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. What I want to say to you guys, and I'm one of you, my son is here. I mean, we're dealing with a first in a lifetime energy to deal with both the dissolver, Neptune, and the concrete structure maker, Saturn. There's almost no way to put those two together other than concrete. It starts off as a wet, slurry slush, and it hardens into something concrete. Well, it's the slurry sludge and the concrete maker Turner hanging out in our first house to help us concretize our dreams, visions, and what is realistic and attainable in our lives. And we're going to be working with this energy for 3 years, as Saturn and Neptune will be here, especially in full force beginning next February. So this is our first taste, and now they're retrograde. Retrograde is reassess, revise, rethink. Pull back the illusion and delusion. And as that is happening, and we lean into this week ahead, Thursday, the 31st of July, Friday, the 1st of August, Saturday, the 2nd, Sunday, the 3rd, all through that time, we feel Thursday through Sunday, a kind of sober clarity and clarion call. Like it's as if the universe is telling us, pay attention to your intuition. You are a creative force of the universe. You birth universes from your womb. That's Haumea, trined in witchy Scorpio. Well, we have the oracle of intuition with Venus. How can you really lean into your own inner feminine? I don't care if you're a biological male. We're talking about the feminine way of being, the perceptive, receptive, intuitive aspect of our mind, our right brain, if you like. So using the apparatus of knowing and right brain wisdom, you're going to be asked this week ahead, most likely, to make some turning point decisions around the following themes: home, property, land, real estate. Females from your childhood. I apologize, but I moved to a neighborhood next to a fire hall, and it's going to be a part of my videos from now on. Now, because Venus is also beauty, and this is the 4th house. It's how you design and decorate and beautify the place that you call your nest. And with her, with Jupiter, you want bigger, better, more expansive, more glorious, fancy stuff, maybe, you know what I mean? And yet she's like, wait a minute, Saturn is talking to me, ringy dingy dingy. That's one ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingies. That's from laughing. And Saturn's like, be realistic. Okay, can you get more serious? Like nobody needs, a king size waterbed on stilts. Like that might look cool or feel cool, but let's be more realistic. So there's a real kind of caution and realism embedded in this week for you about things you wish to own for your home or possess for your home. And I'm really clear about that because even if a new car could come off of this, you may desire a new possession that you would hold or have in or near your home. And that may be wonderful. Take your time. I just got an offer by my dealer to buy my car. They always say, buy your car. It's low mileage. Well, yeah, okay. Then I have to trade it in or something and get a new one. Is this the time to do it? Well, I'm not going to. I got the email today because Saturn's telling me to wait, pause, delay the possession that you think you need for your home. Or if there's somebody who wants to spend time with you in your home, a female that you know who wants to come, say, visit you in the home, that's fine. But also, again, give it a pause. Is that the best time for you to entertain somebody? Is this the best time for you to have a female in your home? Some of you might think about that and go, no, not really. So then don't. Wait, pause, delay. Be realistic. That's so simple, right? Now, at a really profound level, that flow of Venus with Jupiter to Haumea, the creatrix who does create divine feminine healing, but births universes from her womb, and she's a mama apele. This is a noisy day. You're going to find that you're kind of having the opportunity to lean into what it is you wish to create in a deep, profound, spiritual liberation way. Like Venus is in a moksha house. Haumea is in a moksha house. The North Node is in a moksha house. There's a lot of water flow here. And so, yeah, you can create anything. Abracadabra, here's my Mercedes. Do you really want that? Do you really value that? So Saturn will say to you here, what values you have or possessions you want need to stand the test of time. They need to be things that you will still like be glad you got 29 years from now into your life. Of course, not a car will never last 29 years, but at least 7. Ask yourself, the first 7 years is a Saturn cycle. What if I buy that car, decorate my home, buy that object, create that deeper thing that I wish to own or possess for my nest or for my sanctuary, for my home, including buying a home, right? Or selling a home. Is that a decision I'll be satisfied with 7 years from now? Or is it a whim or a fancy or a wish that's not got any legs underneath it? Those are the stories to think of. She is sextiling Pandora, the ills that spilled upon the world, in the house of work, in the house of health, and she has a flow to Pandora's box. And one of the ills of Pandora's box is disease. And so there's a strong healing energy for you here to heal some kind of unwellness in your life, especially connected to self-undoing. Mars is in his joy holding for it, but he says, let go of. And obviously with Venus, it's a dietary style habit or something you put in your mouth or an addiction. And it's getting time to release and surrender. And Pandora's box is being sort of supported to find the hope inside of it, thanks to Venus. Now I'm going to draw a card for you, and I just did, and it's called Chaos and Conflict, and it is the 33rd card of the Major Arcana. A quick reminder that Venus represents love and Saturn represents endurance. You could be working hard to make love endure in and from your home, whether it's a love of your home or a love of someone in your home, I don't know. But it's also going to be about being realistic and being sober-minded and letting go of the fantasy and facing what's really available here. Chaos and conflict meanings are being at cross purposes with another person, the tension of opposites, and the value of chaos that comes before order. I'm not going to read the whole thing to everybody, but it is interesting to note that she defines it right away as cross purposes with another person. There may be cross purposes with someone from your childhood, somebody from your household growing up, somebody from your home or homeland, or somebody with whom you are cohabitating or living with in your domestic environment. And that's what I've got for you, Aries. We're going to be doing a video on Thursday that dives into the 3-week transit of Venus in Cancer and what you want to do with that energy, because it's going to involve a huge amount of fated celestial power. Thank you to the North Node and Jupiter. So that is coming up in our Thursday video, most likely on Thursday. Yes. Now we're going to go on and do the next sign, which will be the sign of Taurus. And I'm going to stop my video if I need to, because I got Mr. Potato Chip crinkling over there, but that's okay, because you already had the sirens, you already had the barking dog. So at this point, I can only make more sound. All right, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's get into your sign with an oracle draw card to go with the astrology. And today we're talking about how it feels to have a first in a lifetime Venus ingress into Cancer, squaring Saturn, Neptune conjunction retrograde. Now, the energy of Venus coming into this part of your sky around Thursday, Friday, through to Sunday, you're feeling it, is it's going to open up a corridor of decision-making or action-taking that's essential for you to lean into your long game, realistic and sober-minded direction when it comes to third house matters. Your third house is a lot of things. You could be having a writing project, traveling plans, educational learning, strategic, like skills-based learning, maybe even teaching classes here. This is also connections to siblings, particularly the one just younger than you. And all of this is where Venus is activating. And she's got a lot of intuition with Pythia, the Oracle of Delphi, right next to her. And she is flowing to a moon, by the way, another indication of her intuitive powers, very sorceress and witchy energy, and Haumea, the creatrix. Now, it may be asking you what you deeply want to create in your life when it comes to matters of long-term committed love and the local environment in which you live, you know, the neighbors, the neighborhood, the place that you reside. And there's something going on here where she's also having to face things with a realistic eye. Certainly with Saturn and Neptune retrograding in the 12th house, that is your addictions. That is your self-undoing. That truly is where you have to face yourself squarely about how you try to escape from reality, how your actions and habits and behaviors are self-sabotaging and self-undoing. And so because Saturn is very realistic and he's treading over old ground that he's already been in for several months, Neptune with him, you're going to find yourself thinking a lot about the past, things that you've already encountered regarding how you let your own self down, how you could kick yourself in the butt for what you should have, could have, would have done, or how you could have done it differently. That's okay, because with Venus here, she's benefic, she's moving onwards, she's making something good happen. She is on a wealth star, Betelgeuse. So there is something to be said for the potential for her to also give you financial lushness, but that's going to happen through backroom deals and negotiations, not through forward actions on your own part. The sky is conspiring maybe to help improve you on your financial front. That said, could there be situations involving your local environment, your neighbors, your neighborhood, friends that you have in your local environment that you need to really have a reassessment of? Are these my friends I need? Like, for example, if you are struggling with an alcohol problem, do you need to hang out with the hard drinking crew, or would you like to change it up? That's an example, right? Just an example. Energetically, with the North Node in your 11th house, and Venus will get really in touch with that North Node later on. So please stay tuned for my Thursday video about that longer transit of Venus through your third house. You are going to find yourself making really big changes to your friendship groups and circles, and they're all going to be connected, and your long range goals and dreams, and the way you create gains and money from your career. And some of you are going to travel to change your job or career. Some of you are going to revise the friends that you allow into your inner circle for the local environment, types of hanging out with the girls or the guys. And that's going to happen in fated and destined ways. You're looking more deeply, Venus says, at what you truly value and what you truly desire to have in your life. And the square to Saturn is just being willing to wait. You don't have to have it today. You don't have to have it yesterday. That can come in its good time. Saturn rules your career house. What is the career path? What is the educational path? Universities, colleges, educational paths, maybe paths to do with foreign travel and distant shores, maybe paths that you wish to have come into concrete form already, and career. Choices in career. What kind of career path do you want? Saturn is about delay. Saturn is about pause, wait, consider what's wise first. Don't rush to judgment. Don't rush to action. And you can't. It's a square to Lord Saturn. Now, Venus is also about pleasure. And with Jupiter there, your pleasure is expanding, but it's third house pleasures. You're going to notice perhaps a turning of the energy field and a less concern about money and finances. And as you move into this energy that opens up on Thursday through to Sunday, a sort of sense of relieving and releasing some of the tension you might have felt around decisions to do with work and money. And all of a sudden, you're just having a little bit more fun with the people you encounter in the daily, the local environment, the neighbors, the friends, the restaurants, the gym you work out at, and having some abundant enjoyment and pleasure there. With Jupiter, that's important to know. You can be very lucky in your third house area. And we'll cover that on Thursday's video, because that is a way that you could even come into some financial gain through the word luck and local environment. Yeah, the casino, the bingo hall, take your pick. I'll be more specific about that with our Thursday video for your sign. Finally, last thing I'd have to guide you with is, of course, a draw from the Wisdom Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. She's one of those prolific oracle card makers. Oh, a card fell out. Now, I do honor that when a card falls out, so I'm taking it for you. And it's, oh my goodness gracious. You might want to see it. Higher power. Now, it's kind of funny because I gave you the old, like, if you got to stop an addiction, when you do the, addiction recovery work through systems like the 12-step program, it's all about surrendering to a higher power. So this is the fourth card of this particular deck, and reminding yourself that you're looking at patterns of self-undoing and where you could be so full of self-recrimination, doubt, or, I hate myself for making mistakes. Let it go. Okay, let it go. Surrender to the higher power is your essential meaning of this card. It's conscious contact with a higher power. I don't care. What do you pray to? Find your divine spark with what you connect to for, the universe is a friendly place. It has my back. I'm not in this alone. Conscious contact with a higher power, the presence of divine seeing, source energy in all things, and committing to a partnership with spirit. You're not in it alone. Find that contact, pick up the phone and dial God, Goddess 101. 555, whatever it is, and get hooked up. So that's your guidance card for this energy of Venus this week ahead, Thursday through to Sunday. Now we'll move on to the next sign, which will, of course, in zodiacal order, be the sign of Gemini. Now, Geminis, it's a once in a lifetime, first in a lifetime. Well, it's a first in a lifetime Venus movement through your second house of money, earnings, and resources, and food style, and what you eat and what you put in your mouth and your nose. Okay. Now it's literally your face as well, and throat. So that's where she is. It's good for your face. It's good for your throat. It's good for your teeth. It's good, beautify. Great for new makeup as well, new facial procedures, and it's going to be a 3-week story. And I'm going to dive into that in a lot more depth when we get to Thursday's video, all about Venus in Cancer for 3 weeks. But now, as she starts this week up ahead, holy moly, Thursday through Sunday, you begin to feel the grinding square here between Venus and Saturn. Now, Venus is intuitive. She's with Pythia. She's creative. She's with the creatrix who births universes from her womb, Haumea of the Hawaiian tradition. What is it you want to birth into being that is going to indicate financial wellness, but also through being creative in your work environment? You can also be very healing here. She's in the house of sickness, and she's a creatrix, and the moon flowing to Venus. It's definitely really good for healing urogenital stuff, Scorpio, right? Just saying, urogenital stuff, but also just healing in general. And Venus is also very much aligned here with Jupiter. So the way in which money or healing or dietary changes can happen is going to be blessed by Lord Jupiter. And, you'll just find an easy flow. I do want to note that Saturn is about being realistic, about taking the time and caution to make something happen. And because he's in a house of your career gains, the money you make in a career path, also in the house of your long-range goals, visions, and dreams for your life, because he's there, you're wanting to concoct a new story. Saturn is, what you can make real, and Neptune is what you envision or visualize or imagine. And to make those imaginings concrete and real of your long-range goals and dreams is your task for the next 3 years. And some of it will involve changes in the career path and the gains and the way you make the money. This is not the time to make the changes. It's the time to consider what wise changes you need to make from an intuitive and knowing place, because the square is not an easy energy. It's about kind of halt, pause, wait for the thing you need to do. But it's about getting in touch with what you need to do. If you're making money and you're saving money and you're earning money, Venus here is good. She's with Jupiter, and you're going to naturally, without even trying, especially with a trine to the North Node, increase your money, earnings, and career success, especially with Haumea, and they're all in Artha houses, 2, 6, and 10. So end of story. But the moon is fallen. Money isn't, chasing the paper isn't the root of all goodness, right? It's the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. If you are chasing the paper, if the love of money has consumed you, this is going to still make you money, but not bring you satisfaction, pleasure, and enjoyment. Venus is not going to put up with it. She's like, are we having any fun yet? Are we making money, but is this fun or not? So I want you to consider she's a creative goddess, and she's creating something new in the house of earnings, in the house of resources financially. And she wants you to have some fun, damn it. End of story. And if it's not fun, something fun is trying to happen. You're going to be learning something here in the 3 weeks of her transit. Wait till I put that video out for you. Hardship and difficulty, grinding the gears with a friend, benefactor, ally, or sibling, one older than you, can occur this Thursday through to Sunday. Just some kind of falling out or difficult circumstance with those people. 11th house people are going to feel rough and tough. And there may be some hard speech, some harsh words spoken between you and that person. That's just a thing that can happen. It doesn't mean it will. If it does, it passes. But then you're going to ask yourself about your values. Is this person in alignment with your values? Are they in alignment with your long-range dreams and goals for your life? That's what you need to consider. Let's pull a card for you. I'm about to do it right now. This is your guidance from Colette Baron Reed for the week ahead. It's called There and Now. Now, I don't know what the 32nd card, There and Now, is about, but Saturn is retrograde and he's a lord of time. He's a chronicator and he's retrograding. So people from your past, colleagues, coworkers, sometimes friends, allies, benefactors, young, sibling one older from the past. Let's take a look at card number 32 and see what she says about this way to handle Thursday through Sunday. 32. I'm at 22. I'm like, that's a better card. I'll take that one. 32. Here and now. Well, this is simple. It's not here and then, it's here and now. Saturn will take you back to the past, Mr. Nostalgia, Mr. Thinking about my friendships, my old career gains, the friends I used to have, the gains I used to have, the dreams I used to have. Okay, forget that stuff. Forget the retrograde Saturn, Lord of Time and Karma, imagination and memory, maybe Neptune. That's not the way to go. Your clue for your success Thursday through Sunday, as Venus wants to prosper you up on a wealth star and bring enduring prosperity through career, through the events that transpire Thursday through Sunday that get you aligned. It's here and now. Be fully present in the moment, living one day at a time. That's literally the Be Here Now book by Eckhart Tolle. Don't get all caught up in the past, especially with regrets. Saturn retrograde in your 11th house, wishes and dreams, where you think you missed the boat, missed the mark, or somehow screwed it up. This is a good time for you as well to reassess those friendships that you already have. Keep the ones that really work and let the rest go, because Saturn retrograde is like Grim Reaper with wisdom and sage-like nature, pondering which friends he wants to slice out of your life in the next 3 years. And believe me, a lot of times when my clients have this transit, they move to another country, or they move to another city, or move to another location. But sometimes they also just let their friends go. They want to form a new tribe. Some of the friends don't work for them anymore. You'll see what I mean, because you're going to live through this transit next February, add 3 years. It's a long story. It's a long story. All right, moving on to the next sign. Let's get going. And we're moving into the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Certainly, Venus in your sign is a blessing. You feel better about your life. This is going to be 3 weeks, and it starts on the 31st, which is Thursday. And ultimately, this happens on the yearly, but not with Jupiter here. So this is going to open up more luck, more opportunity, more spaciousness, more magnificence, more leadership, more luck, more wealth, more goodness. Life gets better and better. And you're pregnant with all kinds of possibility here. Whether you want to birth a real baby or a whole new path in life, it's all up for your perusal during her transit here. However, to be considered on Thursday through Sunday, she's with the intuitive oracle of Delphi. She is trining the creatrix Haumea in your 5th house of birthing children. If you are conceivably someone who could get your partner pregnant, or you could get pregnant, this is one of the most intense fertility transits I've seen in a long time. And so be cautious if making a baby isn't on your agenda. You still have a lot of potential for other kinds of creativity, such as birthing a business, birthing a book, birthing an art path, birthing a performing career, whatever, birthing creative, artistic, and muse-inspired things in your life. It can also look like some positive things going on for your children. And it could even be that one of your children is birthing a baby. Hey, mom, me and so are pregnant. So there is that story in the backdrop as well, Thursday through to Monday. And certainly it could go longer. Venus will be actually in your 1st house for 3 weeks. One of the things going on here is Saturn square, first in a lifetime, with Neptune right there. That's not happened before. And it won't even happen this way again, not with that tight conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. So there's something about your attempt to come into a place of authority and mastery and success at the top of the mountain in your career space, but also to be able to harness a deeper vision, a truer imaginational fantasy, I guess, of what you want it to look like. And because those two are trying to work together, like I started in the intro talking about the concrete maker, right? Saturn, and the slurry being Neptune, you're really trying to gel something up there. You want to make a career impact. A legacy could even be called forth from this. But you're having confusion maybe, and Neptune is retrograding to unbind you from the uncertainty, confusion, and delusion and illusion, while Saturn is opening up long-term realistic strategies for you with wisdom. Venus is chiming in because girls just want to have fun. Girls just want to be rich. Girls just want to have money. That's a song. I'm not being a female misogynist. Girls just want to have fun. When she's here, you really want to enjoy life. You want some pleasures. You want to have some fun, especially with the fifth house, flirty fun, romantic fun, imbibing pleasures, whatever it is. Just have some fun, have some pleasure, have some sportsmanship, play some games, whatever. And yet Saturn is like, tisk, tisk, tisk. We need to get serious up here in the career space. I would encourage you to think about this time, this Thursday through to Monday, along the lines of, if I have what I truly want, will it make me deeply happy? Because there's a difference between pleasure and joy, and Jupiter is joy and Venus is enjoyment. And so the two of them are trying to mesh up here with a question for you. The things that bring you pleasure, money, riches, delights, delectables, foods, whatever, the pleasures of life can sometimes be empty and not satisfactory. And Saturn is all about what pleasures you wish to still be having that are also deeply joyful and that can last at least the next 3 years, if not 7. So this is going to bring you back to career over and over again, purpose, what your status in the world is. Saturn rules your marriage house. You may be asking questions about marriage, and is this satisfying, and is this what I want, or do I want and deeply need and desire a long-term committed love partner? Maybe that's what'll bring me enjoyment and happiness. Saturn is a ruler of your house of chunky money and money shared with those partners. Again, you can get some chunky money from this story, but it's asking a profound question. It's more than the surface level. It's about profound enjoyment and wealth, Jupiter, that comes from, a longer, deeper, wiser perspective than taking a job that pays you well, but you're not having any fun or enjoyment. All right, no joy, no fun, no deep, resourceful pleasure. Now I'm going to draw a card for you, and it's what this deck says from Colette Baron-Reid on the Oracle deck. The wisdom of the Oracle says, round and round. I'm singing this song this morning that reminds me of the song round and na na na, dee 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 da 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 da. Let's go to number 25 for round and round. Now, I'm not sure what to make of that in this context because it is a spiral, it is a seashell, and time does cycle round and round and round. So what I'm going to first of all say before I read the card is go back to your life when it comes to matters of enjoyment and joy and pleasure and career. And what were you doing back when 96, 97, 98 happened? Because that is what's happening again. And you might go, oh my God, I worked in a job I didn't like and I made money and it was great, but I was really unhappy there. Or something happened regarding career and purpose. Or I married and I got wedding bells ringing, 10th house, to somebody that later on just ground down my life and I wasn't really satisfied. You have a chance to do it differently. When I think of round and round, I think of cycles that cycle back and around and around and around and around. So it says to me that you, 25, it says to me that your keywords for this, how to handle Thursday through to Sunday, the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated and cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern and taking a new perspective. It even says that this card reminds you that although it may appear you've gone backward, the truth is you're standing at a higher level on the spiral. This is your chance to kind of redo The energies of 96, 97, 98 in your professional area may be connected to marriage and weddings as well, and relationships in a new and different way. So that's what I've got for you. I hope that helps. You have a higher perspective on the spiral. You're not exactly in the same place, and certainly you're not because you have a first in a lifetime Neptune Saturn conjunction in your 10th house of career. It's certainly not going to look like the past. Share in the comments how that relates for you in terms of going back in time. All right, Cancer rising, especially Sun and Moon, maybe secondarily. All right, our next sign, and I'm going slower than I wanted to, but what the heck, these things happen. Our next sign here is going to be Leo, Sun, Moon, and rising sign. So, hey, Leo, it is very subtle to see Venus in your 12th house because she's in the back room, like the smoky back room where the poker game's going on and no one knows how to get to the secret door, And so she's conspiring between backroom deals and negotiations to benefit you, but she also is in a house of solitude and isolation. There's a lot of time alone that may be very satisfactory for you now. I mean, literally close the door, turn off your phone, and be alone. If you don't do it in your home, then maybe travel to an ashram or a retreat center or something like that, a spa. I don't care what. She likes to be alone. She likes her bed pleasures here as well, but that can mean the pleasure of what you do alone in your bed. It doesn't have to be, sexual energy. And you're kind of hiding. This is where she hides from the world. It's backstage energy. Funny, a lot of stars have planets here because it's backstage, But on the other hand, it's like, what are you doing in the backstage of your life that is deeply enjoyable and seeking of pleasure? And Jupiter in a lasting and meaningful way, like, because Jupiter would say you really want to lean into a little bit more of what's truly good for you. And your intuition is on really high level right now. Volume it up this Thursday through to Monday, as we see, or Thursday through to Sunday, as we see, the Oracle of Delphi merging with Venus. So nighttime dreams can activate, especially with Saturn in the ninth. So really pay attention to dreams at night that could really open up portals for you of new perception, of understanding, things in a new way, especially regarding Dharma, meaning the meaning and purpose of your life and how you want to align in that regard. But with Saturn, Neptune retrograde, traveling to a place you've been before, to a far offshore for retreat is a possibility. That could happen for the 3 weeks she's here. Stay tuned for Thursday's video. But in this week, Thursday through Sunday, you're coming to a gritty turning point, decision, action, energy. You need to make a choice. You need to make a decision to book that trip, to plan that trip, to take that trip one way or the other, or to enroll for that school, to say yes to the educational opportunity one way or another, Thursday through Sunday. Because of the flow to the creatrix, what are you trying to birth into as a fertility goddess is in your 4th house, birthing a new home, the moon is there, birthing a new way of being in the home, the moon is there. The moon has a condition of fall in Scorpio. And so maybe you want to birth a new way of being in the home that doesn't feel so challenging. Maybe your home life isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe you want a new home. Well, Venus is working behind the scenes to try to bring it to you. But be patient, because with the square to Saturn, it's not ready yet. You can jump into a new home, but is it the right home? Maybe not. North Node in the 8th house can also be good for longer term idea of buying and selling real estate. But pause, reflect, maybe delay. Something good is trying to happen, but it's not quite ready. I open up the possibility here with a creative squad in the 4th house and Jupiter ruling your 5th house that you may be coming into a period of grandparenting or parenting. So single Leos, you could get pregnant or become parental or grandparental off of the sky. Finally, one of the things to consider, I think, is that with Venus here flowing to the North Node, you could come into some chunky money, and it could come from your mom or your dad or your family of origin, something in or land or property or real estate. And would it happen Thursday through Sunday? Maybe you know about it, but you have to deal with some kind of delay or some kind of assessment from courts or legal situations before you're able to procure the funds or the finances that come to you in a chunk. Venus rules your career space, And maybe it's a severance package. You quit your job and get a chunk of money, or there's just a delay in a chunk of money that's coming to you from matters connected to your career. Lord Saturn, the Lord of delay, right, is also connected to your seventh house, and chunky money connected to marriage and divorce settlements may be on pause, for example. And they will come through as we get past Thursday through Sunday's energy field. Let's draw a card for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. New life. Okay, new life. I find that an interesting card for you because there is a birthing of new creation from Haumea, the creatrix, in your fourth house of home, land, and real estate. But it also activates sort of the root of your life, right? From the fertilized roots under the tree, there's a goddess that makes babies happen. So you're creating a new foundation in some ways. Oh, what number is that card? It is number 39. Let's grab number 39. Number 39. That's like a bingo hall, guys. Number 39. What's the creatrix say Thursday through Sunday, and how to handle this delay of love, of beauty, pleasure, love? 38, 39. Okay. The essential meaning is obvious. Birth of new ideas, growth and opportunities, a breath of fresh air, and life that renews itself. It's got like joy, excitement, awakening, feeling like springtime is here, blossoms birthing from trees. Now, that's true because Haumea is in the fourth house. But I would say there's a feeling that that's coming to you Thursday through Sunday, but you can also feel this kind of hold up. The brakes are on Saturn energy. Let it pass. Saturn is giving you sage-like wisdom in order to define how you wish to move ahead. And it can involve, as I said, academic, educational, travel, foreign distance, far off lands, ashram, spiritual beliefs, God, book publishing deals, even in delay mode. All right, as things have to unfold for better clarity and better wisdom for you, a better knowing. Trust your intuition. And our next sign, yay us, is going to be Virgo, Sun and Moon and Rising sign. Virgo, yeah, first in a lifetime, never happened before. You've got a conjunction between the planets Saturn and Neptune squaring Venus in your 11th house of good spirit. This is a positive and lucky house, and Venus is a goddess of luck. And she's with Jupiter, another god of luck. And therefore, you have a lot of luck in your life, Virgo. This is an ideal time to follow your intuition into a surprising new career opportunity regarding financial gain in career shifts. However, Saturn also has delays in store for you. Thursday through Sunday, you might have to come into some consideration of actions and decisions you need to take regarding career gains and eighth house matters. Now, that can be things like severance packages, sign-on bonus, commission checks, performance review monies, etc. But it's also taxes. The old tax burdens are there. I'm not too worried about this story in general, but there's a deeper meaning to Saturn, Neptune in the eighth house. It has to do with liberation and freedom from something that holds you back, that keeps you bound to the character in the matrix. And because of that, Saturn wants the jailer is there, and Neptune, the visionary, is there, and they're squaring a retrograde Mercury and Sun in your 12th house. And I just encourage you to look deeply at your own self-undoing addictions, habits, and patterns this Thursday through to Monday. There may be a breakthrough ahead, especially because of Uranus. That said, what Venus cares about is making you richer, bringing you more money. She's on a wealth star as she ingresses, and she's in the house of great gains, but also windfalls and pennies from heaven. She trines the moon and Haumea, which can bring you wealth from women you know, women in your life, mother figures, Haumea, the creatrix god as well. She also opens up a door, Haumea Venus, to being more creative, more fulfilled in your third house storylines vis-a-vis career gains and finances. Now, don't forget, you could get a windfall off of this, including a lottery win, or someone you know can give you money unexpectedly. Sure, that's Thursday through to Sunday. Could even play out for 3 weeks as a possibility. I'll be doing a video on that Thursday for the long story of Venus in Cancer. But in my view of your story here, it's really simple. You're on jackpot on steroids, right? August is going to give you a financial jackpot. Just rest easy and relax. Okay, that's going to be amazing, especially from career gains and career matters. What really matters this Thursday through to Monday is you need to really consider, with using your intuition, not your left brain, are you enjoying the means by which you earn money in your career? Is it bringing you enjoyment and fun and pleasure? Venus is asking the question, and Saturn is saying, well, let's really wise up about the money. Let's really consider it more deeply. And also from breaking away from bondage of karmic patterns as well, regarding how money and you are aligned from the work sphere. Venus rules your savings, your income, your earnings as well, your second house, your resources, also what you put in your mouth. All Virgos will benefit Thursday through Sunday by quitting a bad habit of dietary ingestion through nose or mouth. I don't care if it's liquid or food, but you could also really benefit from a rearrangement of what you truly desire from a wise standpoint around the way in which you create financial abundance in your life. You might also notice that a friend can be very helpful, or a sibling one older, Thursday through to Sunday. That's a possibility that a friend can really lean in to benefit you, to help you, or to support you in some fundamental way. And with a North Node in your seventh house, so can a spousal figure be highly supportive of you Thursday through until Sunday, Monday. It all said and done, this once in a lifetime energy at this exactitude can break karmic chains that have bound you for centuries, coming from family of origins, ancestral line, and past life stuff. So I would say do the inner work before you do the outer work. Don't jump on a job or a career opportunity unless you know that you're literally not going to fall into the mistake of what the card is. It just fell out right side up, all over the floor. You can't make this up. All the glitters. I don't even need to read this card. I already know what it means. It's card number 16, but basically it's like all the glitters is not gold. I do think it's a warning about taking the prosperity or the abundance without considering the deeper layers of what joy and success mean to you. And the meaning of the card is a need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress, or to dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing. You're going to be richer by the end of this year. Trust me. So choose the way the riches come to you. Choose the way the wealth arrives. Is it in alignment with deeper joy, true satisfaction, wisdom? Is it what you want and need? That's what I've got for you. Okay, are you guys ready for the next sign? Let's move on. So thanks for listening this long. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you're in the live premiere, especially, it does help my channel grow, and I would appreciate that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Moving into the sign of Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. So having Venus, the Lord of your sign, you and Taurus share her together in your 10th house of career every year for 3 weeks, of course, is positive. It's good news in the career front. It's lucky breaks. It's more money. It's more success. However, more enjoyment, more social time. However, you also have Jupiter there, and that's amazing. And you've got a square to Saturn, Neptune first in a lifetime. So let's get into the weeds a little bit here. You know, Venus wants you to enjoy your career, have success, be popular, have some fun there. And that's nothing wrong with that. Jupiter says prosperity, luck, that's coming up for the entire next year. But when she's here, as she's squaring Saturn, and there's like a roadblock or a pause or a delay, it literally can look like Thursday through Monday. There's a contract for your work that needs to be signed, or a gnarly client, or a difficult circumstance, and you just can't get the traction that you're wanting, and you have to wait, or there's going to be a holdup of some sort. But that's superficial layer, because Neptune and Saturn are deeper than that. Saturn is retrograding to go back to situations with clients, customers, audience, marketplace, maybe even business partners from the past, love partners from the past, or situations regarding love in the existing love story from the past, and do a little bit of consideration about it. And Neptune is also what visionary success you want to have in that audience, marketplace, marriage house, or business partner house. But I mean, I don't know. Venus squaring here is like love is hard or work is hard. and work and love are hard. So long-term committed love partnerships are at odds with the enjoyment of what's going on Thursday through, say, Monday in your career. And you might find yourself wanting to just enjoy what you're doing. You're having a blast, you're doing successful things, but there's a like a bee in the bonnet of some other person that's giving you a kind of grinding of the gears, a sober, realistic assessment of something that you're not wanting necessarily to face. I don't know that the Saturn Neptune situation is a marriage partner, but it's certainly the marriage house. And they may be going through a difficult reassessment and challenge in their own life and their own career. It's not always about you, but if it is about your own career, then there's some other person in the mix that's making things a little bit difficult. I don't know. I guess, when you stick a stick in the spoke in the wheels of your bike, rattle, 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 crack, and your bike stops moving, right? There's something like that here. It could be a legal issue, a contractual issue that's getting in the way of some career promotion, perk, or raise. The deep story, though, is you want to go into looking at what you deeply value and enjoy about the work you do in the world. And with Venus in a trine here, Thursday through Monday in the beginning, Thursday, Friday to the moon in Scorpio and Haumea, the creatrix, you want to create an abundance of fertility and growth and new creations in the way in which you earn money. And you also want to enjoy things. But, come on, Jupiter and Venus up there, you're going to be lucky in your career like you won't believe in the month of August. And that's great. Don't bite off more than you can chew. The moon has fallen in the house of what you can digest on your financial front. It's one thing to be told you got, new opportunity in the workspace and you say yes, but then you realize you don't have the time to do it. Or you have two things happening at once. Jupiter multiplies it. And can you really do both of those things in the career space and actually not get fried? Those are kind of the things I want you to consider Thursday through to Monday. I do want to mention that anything you do to, to be your own worst enemy, to be out of alignment with your own highest possibility, South Node Mars, Pandora, 12th house stuff, some of that's making a turning point here as well. And Venus is supporting that turning point where you're moving into more sovereignty and authority over the way you act in life, especially with Mercury retrograde regarding friends, friendship circles, and gains in the career directly. If you're looking for a job or work, you could get something from the past coming to you off of this, but with delays. Like here's an opportunity from a past situation for employment, money, etc. But there's going to be a delay. You can't get it to go right now. It could be a legal problem. It could be a contractual problem. It could just be a matter of a new job opportunity, but the position doesn't open up for a few weeks or months, right? So delays in those career success stories as well. All said and done, the deep lesson is what is bringing you true, authentic satisfaction and enjoyment in the way you create your earnings and career gains in destined fated ways. And North Node is increasing your success in the next year in your career, job, money, earnings matters. That's not a problem. Venus says, do you really enjoy it? Is it going to be in alignment with your values? Is it satisfying you? And Jupiter says, does it bring you authentic joy? Now, we're going to pull a card from you from the Colette Baron Reid's book, and it's the Observer. Well, I don't even need to read that one, but I will. It means to be an observer of your reality, to kind of step back a little bit and detach from the emotional content of your world. Now, you are an air sign, Libra, and you write great pro-con lists when you're ready to. So I'm saying engage that Libran mind, that Libran, balance of pro-con listing your life. Don't make any decisions around your career quite yet. Again, there's holdups and delays and opportunities in career Thursday through Monday. And it's not to frustrate you. It's to give you wise energy, sage-like energy to make the decision that you're here to make, okay? With a little bit more information under your belt. And the card is perspective, objective, neutral observation. So yes, take that approach Thursday through to Monday. So we're moving on to the next sign. My door just closed. I was trying to open it for some breeze and it slammed. So we'll see what happens next. Let's talk about Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, Venus is up in your 9th house of God, and that's a bit your beliefs, your spiritual path in life, dharmic stuff, talents, gifts, the meaning of life, how you wish to proceed with a meaningful and purposeful existence. And Venus up here says, well, it's got to be fun, got to have some enjoyment here. And Jupiter says, wise, sage-like, and authentically, truthfully joyful. And with these two up here, things are moving in that way for you over the course of the next 3 weeks. But we'll be doing a separate video about Venus in this sky part on Thursday. In the meantime, opportunities are emerging from this energy this early this week, Thursday through to Sunday, that say you might have some seemingly golden opportunities for travel abroad, international travel, things to do with human resource departments and career success, opportunities, matters connected to higher education, academic success, maybe even some abundance and prosperity from a father figure. And all of that is happening for you anyway for 3 weeks. Then you get this glitch in the fly in the ointment energy, Thursday through Monday, where we see the Venus square to Saturn playing out. And you could find this first in a lifetime Venus Neptune. It's about the work you do for most of you in this world. Like, what's my job? What's my livelihood? How do I derive income? Saturn wants you to find something that you can really succeed at with perseverance and hard work, creating structure and foundations for your money. But he also is with Neptune in the retrograde. So it's how to pull back the tide and be more realistic and more wise about career, job earnings, successes. And even with retrograde Mercury Sun up there, please watch the video yesterday about the Cazimi. There's definitely some exciting things happening for you this week in the career space, vis-a-vis the work space. But Venus is all about the enjoyment. And I'll tell you, like, it could be, I got a job offer from an international company. They want me to move. I mean, it could happen, right? Why not? Especially with the moon in the condition of her fall squaring Pluto in the 4th house on Thursday, Friday. And you're like, well, is it worth it? Is a move worth it? Whether it's domestic move or a city move or even an international move, it doesn't matter. A potential need to travel or relocate for a job opportunity is in the sky. Saturn rules the house of rentals and the 3rd house of neighborhoods and the 4th house of home. So Saturn's squaring Venus, and there's job opportunities maybe that require relocation. That's an idea Thursday through Monday. There may be also some deep need to reassess whether you need to re-educate yourself. Jupiter up there until next year is like, let's go back to school, or let's go to school, or let's study something. Venus is like, it sounds like fun. Let's go for it. I could enjoy learning something new. Trying your North Node in the house of your natural gifts and talents, and also in Vedic astrology, another educational house. It looks like a lot of you may be looking more squarely at the idea of some professional education or re-education and considering your strategy around that Thursday through till Monday. And if you do want to shift career stories this week or are considering new job, look for opportunities from your past, places you work, people you've worked with, to introduce you to a new opportunity. The creatrix goddess is moving through your sign. You are alive with creative energy. You are on top of your fertility of self. You are highly creative. However, this is a fertility triangle, Jupiter, Venus / Haumea and North Node. And that trine energy is like, are you going to get pregnant in the next 3 weeks, or is your partner? There's something about that to consider as well. And is it the right time? Now I'm going to draw, Scorpio, a card from Colette Baron Reed's The Oracle thingy, Wisdom of the Oracle for your new life. You're the second card sign to get that card. I can't remember who else it was. And it really is something as simple as a new life is emerging for you now, 39. And why would that be? Well, I don't know. A Haumea, a creatrix of birthing universes from her womb, Hawaiian goddess is in your sign. Scorpio sun, birth a whole new career. Scorpio moon, a whole new home life. Scorpio rising, anything you want to birth anew in your life, like you are a creator goddess yourself. So there is new life here. And, Venus is pretty good at making things happen if you want to birth a real baby at this time. The card number is 39. I'll just refresh the reading because I did it already for another sign. You guys are going to have a new life, 39. Birth of new ideas, growth opportunities, a breath of fresh air, life that renewing itself. That's the energy to guide you through Thursday through to Monday. And we're on to our next sign, and our next sign after Scorpio is always Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising signs. What does it mean to have Venus in your eighth house for a first in a lifetime event squaring Saturn, Neptune in your fifth? That's the first in a lifetime. It's going to make some major changes in your money story. And by the end of next year, you'll know what I mean. I don't know what kind of money you could come into with this, but your finances are on the upswing. Use your intuition around investments, financial matters, tax structures, or money from family of origin, inheritances, or sale of property. There's a lot going on about changing a home, selling a home, buying a home that may be emerging in your conscious mind Thursday through to Monday. But with the square to Saturn, there are always going to be delays. Saturn is in the house of what brings you enthusiasm, gets you out of bed in the morning, allows you to use your natural gifts and talents in this world. Fifth house energy is wonder, awe, enchantment with life. Saturn wants you to also be creative, but work hard in your creativity and entrepreneurial creativity energies. He's retrograde with Neptune, giving you a realistic look at what's real and true and possible here. Yet at the same time, in a square Thursday through to Sunday, Monday with Venus, a financial opportunity may be at odds with something that you want to accomplish creatively, artistically, or entrepreneurially. However, Venus is also in a house of secrets, squaring Saturn in a house of romance with shock and awe Uranus in the seventh. There may be some revelations regarding one of your children or romantic sex life partnerships that is time to be revealed so that it can be healed. And yet you always had an intuition about it anyway. What are you trying to create from the depths of your soul, in your dream life, in your time alone, in your spiritual contemplation? Like in the place of ashrams and getaways for the soul, how Maya is calling to you. And she's also connecting to that Venus. So there's a huge spiritual liberation energy here, Thursday through Monday for all of you. And it has a first in a lifetime vibe as well, thanks to the square to Saturn. Oh my goodness. I kind of want to say something like, it's a grid of discontent that creates the oyster pearl, right? And so if things feel frustrating or stuck in romance with your children, with your art, your creativity, your entrepreneurial business endeavors, or romance and stuff, don't worry about it. The discontent is trying to birth something much more beautiful in your life. Saturn, who is squaring Venus, he does happen to rule your money house, your earnings, your resources, and South Node Mars. And it's kind of Pandora's box, letting go of the woes or the ills of a path around reputation and career, or in some cases, marriage. And it's time to surrender, release, and let go, maybe of some old relationship. Venus can put you in touch with how to share the assets, with separating monies, with a spousal separation agreement. Also, there could be something going on with one of your children, Saturn, Neptune, retrograde, something with one of your children, maybe really drawing your attention Thursday through to Monday. They may need money from you. They may need some financial support, and you're going to have to cope, deal, or support them somehow, some way. So look for stories with children where your financial wellness is there to get them through some hard time. That's a possibility. Don't forget to watch the video that came out on Sunday about the Cazimi in your ninth house. That's a story I won't go back into here, but it's very, very important. Now we're going to draw a card from the Colette Baron Reed Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and we're going to see what we get for you. Now, I hope my mic didn't cut out. My mic cut out in a video recently. That's poor sound quality. I'm going to get another mic anyway. But it is literally what happens when your mic disengages from the computer without your permission. You'll have poor sound quality. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Does that need any explanation? 29. All right. But if I was to read to you, breathe, breathe, take a deep breath. This week is asking you to do that. Jupiter, the Lord of your sign, is in the eighth house, and the eighth house can be a chunky money house. But sell a property, buy sell a stock, get an inheritance on the way, right? And if anything, maybe it does require a little deep breathing to get through some of those narratives for you. It means patience, waiting, wellness, going slowly. That's Saturn, slow down, meditation, and trust. Meditation, especially with Haumea in your 12th house, is a really great suggestion from this card. So I moved next to a fire hall. I didn't realize I was that close. And so you're going to always hear a lot of sirens in the background. It's not that Vancouver is full of like New York City nonstop sirens. You're just hearing it because they're coming out of the fire hall a block and a half away from my house. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Capricorn, Saturn is your ruler. And in a first in a lifetime way, he's squaring Venus as she enters into Cancer. Saturn and Neptune make it once in a lifetime, squaring Venus. Otherwise, go back to the 90s, and in the intro, I told you about that. This Saturn square Venus storyline is going to impact your long-term committed love stories, your business partnerships, and maybe the way you reach out to clients, marketplace, public, fans, and audience. This is a story where you're coming into a grit. Love is hard, love endures, love requires decisions and actions, tension. And because it's got Neptune rolling back to tide, you're superiorly realistic. You see what was hidden from view with your dreamy rose-colored glasses are now off. You have a sober, realistic assessment of what's real and true in committed long-term love. Jupiter wants wisdom here. He wants you to be true to yourself. He's known to end relationships, especially because this fall, anytime he retrogrades, he's like the wise inspector of situations and tells you what's good or good not, what's good enough or not good enough to continue. However, he can bring you love, of course, and we'll be talking about that in another video, but he is there for until next year. With Venus here, it's like something good can happen in this month of August. We'll cover that in another Thursday's video with your partner, and your partner gets a lot of luck. But what you feel Thursday through Monday, if you're in a relationship, romantic, long-term, and committed love story, is you're going to feel tension. And there's something going on in the communal space, the home life, that's drawing your attention. Now, because Venus with Jupiter is very larger than life, very big energy in the house of a significant other, even a client, even a love story, even a business partner, Saturn is in a condition of fall, and he's isolationist, and he's anxious sometimes, and he's grumpy down there, grumpy old man. You could find yourself feeling that situations that you were able to cope with in the home life with a significant partner now feel untenable, or there's a delay in making changes regarding your home and legal contracts and agreements. Now, Saturn is the ruling planet of you, and anything he does matters. He rules your money and resources as well. Tension with a significant other over money and resource matters would not surprise me Thursday through to Monday. Also, you literally are looking at how you can make some really big shifts in how you relate to love and others and romantic love and sexual love by inspecting the past and your childhood, particularly your mother, but both parents, and understanding that the ancestral line and the family growing up home experience influenced you in ways you may not have understood. Retrograde Saturn brings you back to the past, Neptune, the memories, and how your childhood informed your approach to long-term love, to romantic love, to committed love. Venus rules a house of children. A child may be coming into your story with a difficult circumstance in their life, including fertility and pregnancy, but just a challenge that one of your children, young or old, is going through. And you're there to be a source of wisdom or to open up a kind of knowing support for that child. You could want to make a home change with this. There's no doubt about it. And it may be all of a sudden opportunity for new possessions or new home. But again, the delay is there. The buyer wants your home, but don't trust it yet. Wait, pause, give it some time, give it at least 2 or 3 weeks. We want Venus to get out of that Saturn square for sure. And, an opportunity regarding property, home, rental may be coming through Thursday through Monday. North Node in the third house could have you have to move to a new neighborhood, travel to a new neighborhood, opportunities coming through from the past, financial opportunities coming through a sibling 2, 3 older than you. everything is fine, and land, property, and real estate involved as well. Take time to discern whether or not this is right, or if this is the right time. Okay, right or right time. You could be very benefiting by a teacher who's a female coming into, like a guru, into your space in August. We'll get to that, or you're going to encounter that teacher. We'll do that on Thursday's video, but there might be a kind of a whiff of it, like a teacher coming to your hometown, and you're going to spend time studying or meditating or learning from them, likely a female teacher, if this is what I'm seeing. Again, is it the time to go ahead and set it up, or do you need to wait? There's a waiting button. Haumea, the creatrix in the house of friends, allies, benefactors, long-range goals and dreams, and the energy of your 11th house, career gains with a fallen moon. A career gain opportunity can emerge for you, Capricorn. And you might say, yeah, I want that opportunity. It looks so good. It looks so luscious. It looks so fertile, except fallen moon. Uh-oh. And also the energy of Saturn, delay. All said and done, if you're a Cap looking for some livelihood shifts, I think you're going to get dramatic, exciting ones in the next couple of years, and maybe even in the shorter term this year. And so that's what I think it's interesting. What card I just drew for you, which is, because we see this Artha house here, we see Venus as a ruler of your career house. We see Saturn as a ruler of your earnings house. Some of this pivotal change that's going on and the delays that are associated with it, Thursday through Sunday, Monday, may be about working, job, career. Chop wood, carry water. It's an enlightenment expression, but once you've gotten enlightened, you just keep on going, chopping the wood, carrying the water. I think of it mostly, that expression, as about really doing the things we do on the everyday world, tending to the fireplace wood, getting the water from the well. It's very grounded, mundane energy. Being grounded in everyday experience and humility. Just pay attention to the simple chores in your life. The mundane acts, the everyday acts are where your focus should be. Thursday through until Monday. Let me know if some of that tension, though, played out for you the way I did describe it, which was connected to committed love stories, for example, or business partners, etc. And I'd love to hear back in the comments what happened for you Thursday through to Monday. 2 more signs left. Shall we continue? Yes, we will. I think I need a sip of my tea, and it is a really cool concoction. Let me grab it. It's a botanical tea with black tea. And it's got carbonated water, orange lemon, organic black tea, organic dried lime, and black lemon. Well, whatever. Here we go. It's really good. It's like iced tea, right? I should put it in an iced tea and make it with ice. Okay. Let's go on. So I am one of you, Aquarius. Welcome to this week ahead. What are you going to do? Venus is in your work house and your health house. And so is Jupiter, very protective of your health. And, health challenges are always fixable under this energy. Digestive and stomach and mammary glands are Cancer, FYI. But as you see, Venus is stepped in here. She'll be here on Thursday, and she immediately squares Saturn for a first in a lifetime energy. And the energy is OMG, Neptune, Saturn, first in a lifetime squaring Venus. What are you trying to accomplish regarding your work and the job you do in this life that brings enthusiasm and enjoyment and abundance and prosperity, and operating from your intuitive principles, unless you work as an oracle like I do? You're going to find that you need to take a pause, because Saturn is retrograde and he's already reflecting with wisdom and sage-like expertise what you have to accomplish and create in the next 3 years in the house of writing, the house of teaching, learning, marketing, selling, social media, short distance trips and travel, and ideas. Now, having him retrograde with Neptune is like you're pulling back the tide to see what is under the surface, what you can realistically accomplish here. You're circumspect and you're wise. And wisdom is operating on full tilt. And it is square Venus in the workhouse. Now, Venus loves to enjoy her work, the office space, the colleagues, the coworkers. She's demanding that of you as you reach Thursday through Sunday. Jupiter wants to inflate and make it even more yay. This is like hanging with the boss and having a party and going to lunch and enjoying long business lunches full of martinis or something. But Saturn is a little bit like the no-go, rain on the fun parade of the work story. And I don't know, you could have to take some time to pause here and not be so overly ambitiously enthusiastic about some project, some path that you thought you were ready to take. Now, in the workspace, if your workspace especially has got third house narratives, otherwise there's a kind of grinding gear with a sibling one younger than you, a need to reassess, especially if the sibling is an employee, because your employees belong to the sixth house, and maybe pause and halt the presses around situations involving employment and friends or siblings, etc. Energetically having the flow of Venus all the way up to the creatrix Haumea, you have a huge fertility goddess birthing universes in the career and reputation space. I don't even know where to begin. She doesn't just make a baby, she makes universes come into being, or galaxies or whatever. So creatrix Haumea is here, like powering up your career and reputation space. But at the time of this Thursday, Friday, the moon is in a fall up there as well. And so again, with Saturn supporting that situation, it's like, don't jump on the sparkly thing that comes your way that looks like it's super great for your career. If it's a career opportunity, there are things that you're not seeing, particularly maybe the fine print. Mercury is retrograde in the legalese house, and he's not particularly fine print oriented anyway in Leo. So a golden opportunity may not be so golden if it requires you to kind of sign on a dotted career line at all. Wait a while, let Mercury get out of retrograde. If you do have an opportunity, it definitely comes from things, people, places, clients, and situations from your past. I wonder if with Venus here in the house of pets, in the house of rentals, another narrative, she rules your fourth house of home, is this kind of, oh my God, golden opportunity to secure an animal, to get a pet, but it's just not really the time. Chronicator Saturn is like, wait, pause, wrong neighborhood for this dog. Your Great Dane is not going to fit in the, high-rise city streets the way you would like it to happen. Rental properties, to be a tenant or a landlord can connect to the sixth house. And having Venus here ruling the fourth, there's some golden opportunities coming up, and use your intuition, flowing to the North Node to possess a new rental property. But it may not yet be time. The moon, which represents home categorically, is in a condition of fall. So don't be swayed by what looks like, the penthouse suite before you realize that they're going to put a helipad on top of your unit. Look more closely, but it still promises some glorious opportunities over the next 3 weeks regarding what I just mentioned. Maybe not the first one you see, or not the first pet you look at. I'd be cautious there. Saturn is wise, and delays are good for you here. Finally, a trip. You're going to take a journey. You're going to take a trip. It's going to be connected to professional endeavors, perhaps, or maybe to colleagues or coworkers. And there may be some necessary delays Thursday through Monday, rearranging the trip, especially given that Venus rules the ninth house of distant shores and foreign lands. And so foreign trips in particular, or to far off exotic places, may have to be delayed or rescheduled under the sky. And if that's the case, it is entirely A-okay. All right. Don't worry about it. It is the thing that is meant to happen. It could be for a health reason. You have some health issues you want to take care of. It's not a good time for travel. Those are stories that could show up. Trust the delay. The delay brings good things. Now let us go into the wisdom of the oracle for what your message is for Thursday through Monday and how to deal with it. Poised. Well, Venus is poised for you. You have an element of poise. 48. I think of equipoise myself, to be in that place where you're, poised, equipoise, 48. So how do we deal, fellow Aquarians? I'm arising with this story. Here's how we deal with it. And let's see. Woohoo, the wheel, the deal. Okay. Being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best and having confidence. You know, we're ready for anything right now. We know what we need. Our skills are sharp. We come armed with wisdom and knowledge. A new phase of our life is about to begin. So I get that. And so there's no way with Venus and Jupiter in our sixth house of work, North Node in our second house of earnings, that we're not going to, and now the creatrix Haumea traveling for a few weeks through our 10th house of career, that we're not going to kick ass in career, money, earnings, and resources. That's a given. It's a given. But there's something trying to get ready to happen that requires some regress or readdressing or revisioning or rethinking the timeline for it. And that's what I've got for you. I hope I'm not going to pull Sky Reader back off the fall, but that's the kind of thing I can see the sky looking like for me. I still am committed to teaching my regular fall class. Okay, so finally, last sign is Pisces. Pisces, here we go. What a long video. Sun, moon, and rising sign. What do you have going on? You have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and money and romance and fertility in your house of romance, love, and fertility. Well, with Jupiter on steroids, if you are able to conceive a child as a male or a female, you and your partner may conceive a child. Exceptional energy for that in the next 3 weeks. Watch my Thursday video. I'll dive into that more. We talk specifically about Venus as she journeys through your fifth house, but also a first in a lifetime square from Saturn, Neptune, co-joined in your second house is about the money, honey. There's money issues that are disruptive of romance. There are children and financial issues. There are matters connected to your entrepreneurial business and creative projects that are stalling and delayed, mostly for monetary reasons. Romantic love stories, especially committed ones, are undergoing a time of strain Thursday through to Monday, maybe over money issues between the two of you. With Saturn, with a South Node and Mars in your long-term committed love house, there's already a sort of dropping away, letting go, and ending or surrendering or cutting or severing some relationship. And Venus is trying to patch it up with a flow to Pandora's box where the ills have befallen the relationship. And it's all good. The Venus is working with it. But if you're in a relationship and it's difficult Thursday through Sunday, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was, the premise here is the speech you make, the talk, and the communications and speaking in the love story is realistic and wise. It doesn't have to be harsh and stern, but unfortunately it might be. So be careful for harsh, stern words engaged in love stories. You can make them wise and sensible and practical instead. Neptune is pulling back a money confusion or delusion around your financial situation, and with a square to Venus in the house of good fortune and speculation like lottery wins, there may be a critical karmic turning point financially connected to a lottery win or a casino win or a gambling win or a lucky break on your finances, especially mid-August. But we can see something going on here that's a little bit difficult, right? In that grinding square to Saturn. You win the money and you find out you don't qualify to cash the lottery ticket because of some fine print, like that state doesn't honor out-of-state winners. So you have to be careful here. A child is going to have maybe a lucky break of some kind that could happen for them. And there's a flow to your ninth house, Haumea. The creatrix wants to birth new universes in terms of dharma, pilgrimages, foreign lands, higher education, possibly with Lord Saturn as the ruling planet, the domicile lord of your 11th house and 12th house. There could be major changes here pending that surprise you, connected to home, land, and property, because of Uranus, connected to distant shores and lands, and connected to foreign places, foreign from where you currently live, certainly. Opportunities to travel, to move to a new home, not obviously Thursday through Monday. These are stories that are percolating around this time and could play out in the 3 weeks that follow. Now, with Mercury retrograde in your sixth house at the time of this, gnarly tension, he is at least flowing to your second. So, I mean, there's some opportunity, maybe news or information coming through your sky connected to either matters of health or matters of employment. And those stories are also occurring while you're in this gritty romantic tension or tension with a child or harsh words with a romantic partner or trying to be solidly financially able to support a lover or a child with a difficult circumstance. But that does not unplug the luck here. I mean, Venus and Jupiter are going to bring financial fortune, luck, good luck in general, good fortune in general. But you have to walk through the swamp of this Thursday through Monday. And my best advice to you is watch your words, stern and realistic versus harsh and cold conversations with your children or connected to love and romance are to be avoided if you can, right? There's no need for that. Realism can be kind, etc. Yes, and Venus does rule your house of chunky money. So with Neptune sitting there with Jupiter and good old Pythia, maybe you were told by a psychic you were going to win the lottery, or the Oracle of Delphi told you were going to win some money. You could win some money this week. You could win some money all through the next 3 weeks, actually. But watch for the tension. Watch for the angles of what you need to do with sage-like wisdom regarding those themes I addressed: money and children, money and romantic love, money and creative projects, money and entrepreneurial businesses, holdups, delays, even delays in new jobs or employment. Okay. What does this say? This oracle says, wow, you're the second person to get chaos and conflict. Okay. I think it was Aries, maybe. I don't remember. Chaos and conflict. For you, 33 is the number. Well, I see the square of Venus from a romance and children house to Saturn. The chaos and conflict definitely are there, and harsh words. But you add the South Node Mars in your seventh house, and you're looking like some relationship turbulence will also provide you with ample chaos and conflict. Number 33. Disarray, being at cross purposes, conflicts, cross purposes with another person, tension of opposites, and the value of chaos before order descends. Chaos and order, they always go in that way. Chaos, order, chaos, order. It really says if it's a relationship message, take time to learn about your values. Because if you're having a challenge in a relationship, the deepest question is, what do you value deeply in romance, sexuality, love, creation, and fertility? What do you actually value? Because that's what Venus is trying to have you discover or learn. And what do you truly desire? And Jupiter says, bringing in the joy in love, in relationship, in creation, in fertility, in entrepreneurship, in artistic endeavors. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll be doing a video on Thursday. We're going to go through all signs, talking about the 3 weeks of Venus with Jupiter in Cancer, making this a 12-year rare special event, and even rarer when we had Saturn and Neptune. So it's like a sky like no other. And stay tuned for Thursday's video. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. The only thing I have to say here, I'm recording this on Saturday, July the 25th. I do outros. I haven't planned an outro. What do I want to talk about? Anything in particular? I usually talk about things that happen to me that I want to relay to you, Did I talk about Saturn retrograde and the myth of how hard he is? I was listening to a teacher of mine in Vedic astrology and talk about Saturn retrograde being a story that can be what was hard becomes easy. And I've noticed that that is true. And Saturn is currently retrograding in Aries. And so for each of us, that's a one whole sign house. If you go back and watch my Saturn retrograde in Aries video, I think I addressed this, but I've been reflecting even more on that lately, because Saturn retrograding throughout my second house since 2023 and now finishing that story. He's no longer there. He will retrograde in my second house again this September 1st to February. And then it's done for 30 more years. When this happened years ago and when this happened now, it allowed for me to find easy and productive paths to financial success. Earnings got better. I found new structures to contain and save money. And I found there were breakthroughs when he retrograded where earnings upticks were easy, not hard. And I use the example of me last year having, predicted Donald Trump's near death experience on July 13th. I said around July 15th, give or take a few days, he was in harm's way from unaliving. And that happened. That blew my channel up a bit. And it really made a flood of ad income come in over the next 2 or 3 months. And it was easy. And Mercury was retrograde then last summer, July through to October. So don't be afraid of Saturn retrograde. So go back and watch my original video, because even when you go back to the last time Saturn was retrograde in Pisces, right, which would be 94, 95 into 96, or like 90, a little bit of 93, but go 94, 95 into March of 96. So a bit of 93, 94, 95. You can go back in time, and for Aquarius, it's our second house of earnings and resources and money, and ask, was it easier then? What happened then? How did it show up back then? And then compare it to now. And now that Saturn's going to be in Aries, he's going to enter full time next February. He's already retrograding in Aries. You're getting the first of 3 retrograde tastes of what it's like to have ease in third house matters. For me, it's my teaching house. I'll be teaching Sky Reader for the 6th time. Maybe it'll be easier. Well, he'll be out of there by the time I start teaching, but getting the enrollment open is during that retrograde there. Writing could be easier. Things of the third house can be easier than they were before. And you can compare that Saturn, not only in Aries, but retrograde, back to March of 96 to February of 1999. But don't be afraid of the retrogrades. I am actually seeing, by inventory of my past, that the retrograde periods take the Saturn hard and hardship out and make it feel easier, okay? And more like ease instead of hardship. Okay, that was easy. That's a little outro about the nature of Saturn retrograde in one of 12 whole sign houses in your sky right now, in Aries, then in Pisces, September 1st to February. Go download my free meanings of the 12 houses PDF and go watch the Saturn retrograde video. It's on my playlist for big retrogrades of 2025. Easy to find. Go to my channel homepage. It's there, and go watch that if you haven't seen it yet. Thanks for liking. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope to see some of you in Sky Reader this fall.